Call this meeting to order. Tuesday, December 17, 2019, 7 p.m., City of Somerton, regular council meeting. And today we have a very special guest from Tierra del Sol Elementary. We have the students of the month. Can you please come forward? And Sophia is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Before there's more items. One, two, three. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have some certificates. We have a lot. So, Haley Saldana, not here. Mia Galvez. Sofía López. Aileen Sillas. Bianca Aguirre. Carlos Hernández. Natalia Correa. Citlali Hermendáriz. Gael Espíndola. Laila Ramírez.
There you go.
Congratulations. We're going to take a picture. Thank you. Congratulations. Roll call.
Mayor Jerry Anaya.
Present.
Vice Mayor Martha Garcia.
Vice Mayor Garcia is asked to be excused tonight.
Councilman Miguel Villalpando.
Present.
Councilman Carlos Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Luis Galindo.
Councilmember Galindo is on call and was actually called into work tonight.
Councilman Jesus Rodan.
Present.
Councilman Juan Castillo.
Present.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council? There's no one? There's one item on consent agenda. Item number 1, renewal contract with Yuma County Food Bank for Somerton Senior Center Meals Program. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
So motion by Councilman Gonzalez, second by Councilman Rodan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to old business. Second reading by title only, ordinance number 2019-005. An ordinance of the City of Somerton amending ordinance number 2015-002, and rezoning certain areas of the city for real property described herein as 108 East Cactus Street, assessors parcel number 752-15010, as described in Exhibit A. Why?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. This is in reference to rezoning case number PLN 19-00016 that was presented to you at the previous meeting. And if you don't have any further questions for me, staff or the applicant, I would like to ask for approval of the second reading at this time.
Questions, comments? Is there a motion? A motion by Councilman Villalpando. Second by Councilman Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
And this is ordinance number 2019-005, an ordinance of the City of Somerton amending ordinance number 2015-002 and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described herein as 108 East Cactus Street, assessor parcel number 752-15010, more particularly described on Exhibit A attached hereto, from neighborhood commercial to multifamily residential.
Motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Councilman Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Moving on to new business. Item number 1, recognition of residential and commercial advisory and appeal board.
Mr. Mayor, Council, today is the effective date of the city's adopted newer building codes. The review and adoption process of these codes and its amendments was lengthy and very detailed for staff and everyone involved. This process could have not been possible without the technical assistance of the Residential and Commercial Advisory and Appeal Board, which is a group of individuals, most of them are city residents, who volunteered and took the time out of their busy schedules to attend each of the many meetings for several months to carefully review each one of the 11 construction codes. Tonight, staff and City Council would like to recognize the Somerton Residential and Commercial Advisory and Appeal Board members for their time spent on this project and for their commitment to our city. Mayor and Council, we have some members of the board present tonight, and if you could please, if you can assist us presenting them with a small token of appreciation on behalf of the city. And with us tonight we have Aime Gonzalez. Aime, if you can just, Edgar Lopez, Joshua Magaña, and Francisco Quintana. They have their names. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council.
And as Carmen said, thank you. It's just looking over the code and everything. It's you know, it was a long process, and you know, so thank you very much. Item number 2, Director of Amherst Place, Jan Humphreys, presenting an update.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I think you guys already know enough information about Amberley's Place, but I just like to remind some of the few people that are present today that don't know about Amberley's Place. Amberley's Place is an advocacy center that is the headquarters is in Yuma, but we have an advocate that is at our facility at least 3 times a week here at the police department, and they assist our victims with and Diana Amfris, who's here today, will give you a little bit more information on that. But they're critical to us, to the police department. They're critical because when we have a need of somebody to come out here on a 24-hour service, they're available just by a phone call. And I can say that we've invited them, we've called upon them many times in the times of need, whether it's to help us, give a death notification, assist us with providing services on helping someone put together an order of protection, or just helping one or two, many of our officers during critical incidents. They're very critical to us, and I'm very happy that we have a continued working relationship with them. And at this moment, I'd like to introduce Diane Amfris. Thank you, Diane, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for the PowerPoint, do I just...
Max has got it.
He's going to do that? Okay. Mayor and Council, thank you very much for allowing me to come down. I know that you haven't had the opportunity to come to Yuma and to tour Amberley's Place, so I wanted to show you a little bit about what goes on there and what we offer to the victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, or elder abuse that are here living in your city of Somerton. We opened up our doors in 2001, and it was set up in the city of Yuma to be a family advocacy center, but we wanted to help the whole county. But because we located in the city, we felt like that was probably the central part for us to be. So we started offering services down in Somerton, but one of the things we realized is we weren't getting a lot of calls from the city of Somerton. And so in 2015, we were offered a place in the police department. Now, a lot of people would say that's not a good idea because victims don't want to come to the police department. Well, they did want to come to the police department. And in that first year, we realized that there was a 116% increase in calls for service. Now, in 2015, things didn't go crazy in the city of Somerton. It was just the simple fact that we realized victims didn't have access to services. And even though the distance from the city of Yuma to Somerton is not very far, a lot of victims, it was way more than they could do. And so we realized we needed to be here and we needed to be able to be accessible here. So when we started out, we had an advocate that was here 3 days a week. We had one agency vehicle and that's it. And so that's the only reason we could do it 3 days a week, because when she was here with the car, we couldn't be transporting victims or responding anywhere else. Well, we realized that that wasn't the best way to do it. So in 2018, I was able to come up with some grant funds, and I was able to purchase this Dodge Journey. This Journey is strictly for the city of Somerton. And so the advocate that's assigned here drives this vehicle every day. Now we can come every day and respond to anything in the city of Somerton 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, the nice part of this is it didn't cost the city of Somerton anything because we were able to get these funds through a grant. But what I want you to see is that when the advocate responds, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and if the officer says, there's no food in this house, she can bring down a food box. But this food box isn't just odds and ends. This food box is food that meals can actually be prepared from. Because we realize that the biggest reasons victims go back is they can't provide for their family. So they can bring diapers, they can bring formula, whatever those needs are, they can put that in the back of the Journey. That's when we ask for a larger vehicle versus just having a small car. One of the other things I wanted you to know is that with the addition of this vehicle, we can also transport victims from the city of Somerton back up to the Family Advocacy Center. If they need to go up there because they need to have a medical exam or they need to have a forensic interview, instead of going in the back of a police car, which you can imagine if you're a 7-year-old child, that's a little bit intimidating. If you can drive up there in a car with an advocate, it just makes it so much easier and so much better for that victim. And so as I said, now we can respond on scene, provide those services, transport that victim if that's what's needed, and take them up to Yuma. Now, what's the importance of having a family advocacy center in your community? Once, like the chief said, we respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I want you to know that we are the only advocacy center in the state of Arizona that responds 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you're very fortunate that we have the support here in our community. But what the Advocacy Center does is it provides a warm environment for a victim to go to. It's hard for somebody to report one of the crimes that we deal with because it's a crime against you. And oftentimes the perpetrator, well, most of the time, it's somebody you know and you care about. So it's even harder to report that you've been hurt. The other thing that we have is we have a neutral forensic interviewer. So if you have no one on your police department that's available at that time to do that interview, it doesn't matter. We have someone there with 20 years of experience that can interview that victim. The other thing we have is we have 4 forensic medical nurses that know exactly how to do that medical exam. And they've been trained to talk to victims, to let them know that they're safe, that they're going to be okay, help de-escalate the trauma that they're going through. Their basic needs are going to be met by being taken to that center. And the thing of it is it's very private. Nobody knows what's going on. No one from the rest of the community ever sees them. Now this is what our playrooms look like. And now in our new building we have 3 different playrooms. We have one for infants, we have one for teens, and we have one for children. The children's playroom is the one that you see the law enforcement and the superheroes. And that's our hero room. And the reason we call it that is when you're 4 to 12 years old, you know that by making that report, somebody's going to go to jail, and you're scared. And it takes a lot of courage to be able to tell someone that you're being hurt. And so when these kids come in, we let them know, you are a hero, just like the ones on the wall, because it took courage to say, this is what's happening to me. Now, counsel, what I'd like you to understand is when kids report, they really don't want somebody to go to jail. They just want the abuse to stop. That's all they want. They just want it to stop and to have a normal life like anybody else has. Being able to provide these rooms for them brings them and lets them know that it's going to be okay. From the very beginning, we're telling them, you're not in trouble, it's going to be okay, versus taking them to a police department, which is like, I must be in trouble because I'm at the police department. It changes the whole attitude. These are our family rooms, and these are where we take our victims of domestic violence or victims of sexual assault. The big room on the bottom that you see, that is our starfish room, and that room is larger because we use that for death notifications. Sadly, those things do happen here in Yuma, whether it's through abuse or whether it's a child got trapped in between the mattress and the wall and was suffocated. Whatever it is, this is where we can bring families, we can talk to them, we can notify them of the death, we can provide them with clergy, whatever the services that they need. It's not at a noisy emergency room where there are a million other things going on, and it's not at a police department where they feel like they're criminals. What we've tried to do is make this so much softer, so much better for the people that are reporting. If you've ever had something traumatic happen in your family, you remember every sight, every smell, everything that was said. And what we're trying to do is make that traumatic event, we can't take it away from them, but we're trying to make it as soft and as easy on them as we can, because our goal is for them to go on and to heal and to do better. These are our interview rooms. And our interview rooms, once again, are soft. The only person who goes in there is the forensic interviewer and the victim. They're recorded, a copy goes to law enforcement, a copy goes to the county attorney, and a copy goes to the defense attorney. The big room that you see with the chairs, that's our MDT room. That's where we sit down as a team and say, what can we do that's best for this family? How do we make that arrest to where it's not going to impact that victim any more than it already has? And in years past, they never used to think about the victim. When a crime was reported, they just went in, they would make an arrest. Well, the last thing in the world you want is a 5-year-old child to see their family member being arrested. Can you imagine the guilt and the trauma that puts on them? By organizing things, it takes all of that away from them. This is our kids' pantry. When they come to Amberly's place and it's a sexual assault or it's a child molest, that's a good 4.5 to 5 hour investigation done right there. Now that's compared to 16 to 18 hours at the emergency room. So you can see that we're saving you a lot of time with your officers. They come to the center, those medical exams are performed, the forensic interviews are performed, but people have to have their basic needs met. So they can go into the pantry, they can get snacks, they can get water, they can, if it's dinner time, we can feed them. If it's lunchtime, we can feed them. We can take care of their basic needs. We keep formula, diapers, and baby food on hand, so also the infants can be taken care of. We're trying to make this time as easy for them and as comfortable for them as we humanly possibly can. Now, our food pantry is something we're really excited about because we didn't used to have a pantry. Now we have a completely stocked pantry. Kids, when they take their animals to fair, if they can't sell them, we have people who will buy those animals, have them processed, and donate that meat to Amberly's place. So we're able to provide them with food boxes that not only have canned goods in them. It has meat. It has vegetables. It has bread. It has eggs. It has everything that they need. We can do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now because of the generosity of our community. And once again, we let the victims know this isn't coming from Amberley's Place. This is coming from your community, from the people who care about you. We really draw in the names and let them know those different agencies that care. One of the things that this council can do, if you really want to help your victims living in the city of Somerton, let them know it's okay to make a report. And if somebody tells you they've made a report, don't make a judgment on it. Support them. Tell them how courageous it was to pick up the phone and do it. And wait and let law enforcement do the investigation and figure out if it was a good or a bad call. We have 2 medical suites, one for adults and one for children. We have 4 trained forensic nurse examiners. They're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As soon as we're notified that an exam needs to be made, we contact them. They come in. Now, our emergency room has gotten much better at the hospital, but there's still hour-long waits. You don't have this at Amberley's Place. Your law enforcement officer comes in there, tells us they need an exam, and the medical experts are called. They're able to get in and out of there in 1/3 of the time that they could ever do at the hospital. Besides the fact the person doing the medical exam knows what they're doing, is trained in helping to de-escalate the trauma of the victim, as well as testifying in court. That medical evidence that they collect is so important. It's the physical evidence that backs up the report that the victim gave. And it's extremely important. The other thing that we have is once a victim has gone through everything, all the services that we offer, we take them to the care closets. Now that very bottom closet that you see is a toy closet, and you're probably thinking, well, that's kind of a stupid thing to have in an advocacy center. These kids, when they come to us, they are scared to death that they're going to go to jail or they're going to be taken away from their parents because that's what they're told. And we keep telling them they're not in trouble, but when the whole process is over and we take them to the toy closet and we tell them, you can pick out any toy you want, they realize, I'm not in trouble. And just the burden of telling that, you see their shoulders fall, you see them relieved, and oftentimes they cry because now they finally understand that they're not in trouble. The next closet they go to is where they get a quilt. These are handmade quilts that our winter visitors make for them. The quilts and the stuffed animals, they also get to choose one. Now this is for children as well as adults. We have 90-year-old women and men that come through. They also get to choose a quilt. That quilt is a warm hug. It tells me somebody cares about me. I don't know who did it, but somebody thinks I'm of value. Somebody thinks I'm mean enough that they took enough time to put this together just for me. The other closet that you see is where we store the diapers, brand new clothing, hygiene products, all the things that a family will need. If you walk out today and you can't go back to your home just with what you've got on, think of the things you need. And those are the things that we need to be able to provide for the victims who come through Amberley's Place. Now, I've kind of shown you a little bit about what we offer. I want you to see how many of your residents come through and use our services. This is our funding. And this is the way we get a lot of our funding through grants. The rest of our funding comes through the different communities. When you see the 1% from Somerton, that's what you provide for us in the office that we have at the police department. We have to put a value to that. Our grant funders, we have to show them that every community that we provide services to has some kind of buy-in, no matter how small it is. And if they feel like if you don't value our services, then why should they provide for services? So we track everything that goes through. Oops, I think I went too far. If you look at this, the victims that we have, the largest number we get are from law enforcement. Those are the ones that your officers respond to, and then they call us and ask us. The primary victim is the victim that the assault or that the attack happened to. The secondary victims are the children or the family members that were also impacted. If this is a domestic violence case, it's going to be their children. If it's a child molest case, it's going to be the other children that were impacted by the fact that a sibling was molested. And then you see that we have a small number of walk-in and a small number of phone. If you look at this, this is the types, and these are the numbers that we've provided services to. This is only Somerton's number. So when you look at that, out of those 318 victims that we provided services to, the majority of them, over half, were children. And so for us, it's so important for our children to know that they're valued and they're cared about, because one of these days, you guys are not going to be sitting up there, our kids are going to be sitting up there. And we want them to know that we tried to make good decisions for them, and we hope that they will make good decisions for this community then. When you look at it, you can see that the gender, when we go by gender, there are more females that report abuse than there are males. And once again, this takes you through the age bracket. Again, and you can see that the biggest number that we have was from birth to 12 years old. That's because these kids are the least verbal and the easiest to pretty much intimidate. The second highest number you see up there is your victims of domestic violence. But when you look at the crimes we respond to, domestic violence is always throughout Yuma County the highest one that we respond to. The direct services that we provide, we're there on scene. When we go on scene, we're not there to support law enforcement, we're there to support the victim. They need to know that somebody's there to guide them through, explain to them what their rights are and how this criminal justice system works. We take them to the advocacy center. We're the ones that arrange for the medical exams, arrange for the forensic interviews. We also support those secondary victims. It's our job to make sure that we help that family de-escalate from the trauma that's happened and be able to move forward. We provide information on the criminal justice system. We will go get orders of protection if they need it. We will help them with that. Starting in January 1st, all orders of protection have to be done online. That's going to be quite a challenge for a lot of our older citizens. And so advocates will be able to help them go online and fill out those orders of protection. At the end of January, we will have the opportunity, if Somerton is in agreement with it, we will have the opportunity to have video conferencing with our judges for orders of protection. And we can do that right there at the police department, once again with no expense to the city of Somerton. We provide personal advocacy. We let them know what their rights are as a victim of a crime. It's so important that they understand and that they know. We can do interpretation for them so that if they don't understand our languages, we can help them. We provide for the first 3 sessions of counseling for all victims that come through. And the reason we do that is we want them to know that they have another resource of help. We have an MOU with the Regional Center for Border Help, so they can come right here locally and they can get their therapy. They can get it in English or they can get it in Spanish. We had 148 victims from Somerton that we referred over for therapy. 18 of those victims we provided the funding for. What we want you to know is what makes Amberley's Place work is the support of your police department. Your chief has worked with us since she was a patrol officer. She has always supported the victims that live in the city of Somerton. What we need is for you to continue that support, allow us to provide services. We are so very thankful that the residents of Somerton trust us and they let us work with them and they let us provide services. I know your city manager gave you the statistics. The ones I showed you were for the fiscal year. The statistics I've given you are for a calendar year. You can look down and you can see the breakdown of Somerton and the way the services that we've provided. The biggest restraint that keeps victims from reporting is fear. They need to know that it's okay to reach out for help. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and talk with you and share these services with you. If you ever want a tour of the building, please don't hesitate to give a call. I will be there anytime and take you through. Your city manager came, he's taken a tour. I know that your city attorney has been very supportive. He's also been to our facility. So if you would like to see it for yourself, please don't hesitate to give a call. Do you have any questions for me? I've thrown so much at you, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 3, rental agreement between Yuma County and the city of Somerton for intersection improvement project at Avenue B, the county system.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The item before you is the IGA between the county and the city for the intersection improvements project on Avenue B in County 16. The background on this project, Yuma County Development Service completed the design of this project. Basically, they're going to improve all the intersections along Avenue B, starting on County 16, going south to County 18. The county approached to us asking if we are willing to participate in this project, basically taking care of the construction portion of the project. Basically, just the intersection of County 16 and Avenue B, which belong to us. Currently, county completed the design and specifications. The approximate cost estimate for the portion of the project, basically County 16 and Avenue B only, it will be $320,512. The county is willing to contribute $100,000 for this portion, which is belong to us. Basically, the remaining will be $220,512 for us to contribute with this cost. Also, they are willing to allow us to pay this fiscal year, basically the half, which is going to be approximately $115,000 at the beginning of the construction, and the remaining $105,512 for the next fiscal year. So we have enough funds currently on my HURF budget to move forward with this project, and I will recommend City Council to approve and sign this IGA between the county and the City of Somerton by Resolution 219-023. Yeah, you have any questions, we're willing to answer.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? Any comments? This project just shows the working relationship with the county and the public works directors, and also the supervisor reports just to the, with working together and getting these projects going, because in the past we had patches, so now it's going to be seamless, everything, it's going to be repaired at the same time. So thank you for your work, Sam.
Thank you.
Vice Chairman Porteous.
Vice Supervisor, what was it?
This is, we gotta vote it in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion?
So, second.
There's a motion by Councilman Gonzalez, second by Councilman Rodan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 4, discussion and possible approval of final draft of Parks Master Plan by J2 Engineering and Environmental Design.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, attendees. This is Mesa Parks and Rec Director. After an extensive process of going through the motions of putting together a Parks Recreation Facility and Open Space Master Plan, we are right now in this situation. The members from J2 Engineering have been very consistent. They've offered great service to our city and our department. They've been through the whole process of acquiring input, recommendations, and outreach with the public. For example, on July 26th, it was the first open house offered here for the concept. Then after that, they visited us on September 18th, for their open house, a public open house that was here, hosted here in this venue. And then after that, a presentation and work session on November 5th. And also, to recollect, on September 18th, they met with the Parks and Rec Commission to receive input, recommendations, and they made a tailor-fit master plan for our city that meets our needs, and it's looking into the future for a shared use of the high school that we're looking into building in the future. So it's based on using the facilities, the multi-use, the baseball, the softball, basketball, the tennis, that it's being recommended as a joint use for the future. And the recommendation from the Parks and Rec Department is to approve. And I don't know if we have any questions.
Any questions, comments? We had a work session
Yes.
last month, so still the same information, right? Now?
Yes, it's the same information.
Just, I guess, observation, I noticed that we also put I think middle school fields, is that also, is that our property, or is that we're gonna, I know it's part of the, you know, on the plan also there to fix the fields, which is about, so
Yeah.
I think before we do anything like that, we have to get the school board and all that.
You know, I feel that we had the work session and we had the opportunity at this point just approving it, and it really doesn't tie us to anything, just the study and those, although they're not city property, but our residents can utilize them, so that was taken into account. So it's been a process that, you know, at this point, taking it back to the consultant or whatever, it's additional money that we, like, and like I said, it was just something, it's a guide, and it doesn't, nothing that we're approving, that we're gonna construct, and still the next process is just, you know, we still need to decide what facility we're gonna build and or select a consultant, and this is just a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and just want to mention that the plan is made for the city. It's gonna offer the option of integrating a joint parking area at Perry Coney Park that might be used for commercial use. It's a multi-use function, so it's gonna be very convenient and profitable for the city. So it's the best option and the best route to take right now.
So I think the value of this is just shows that Somerton has adequate facilities for its population, and we do have commitments with the high school that we're looking, but you know, at least from what I got from the study was that we, right now for the population that we have the facilities. There's needs for additional soccer fields, but we are not in a you know, bad situation as far as facilities for our residents. So maybe a fun.
Mayor, that's the only problem that I have with this master plan. Overall, it's acceptable, but I do feel that some of it is a little bit exaggerated in the sense that some of these amenities and some of the stuff that they're recommending is a little, outrageous. But other than that, it's not. Again, we don't have to build it all out, so I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Councilman Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So before we go into executive session, we're gonna jump to summary of current events, or if any council members want any future agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Just a few brief items. I joined representatives today from the Arizona Department of Agriculture, Nature, Fresh Farms, and Somerton Middle School to highlight the Ag in Schools program to members of the media. The city partners in that effort by providing municipal water to the small field as a way to show our support and to help the young people learn about the importance of agriculture. Agriculture, as you know, has a long and continuing presence in our community, so it was really great seeing the students harvesting what they've grown and learning about the process from beginning to end. Earlier this week, I guess that would be yesterday, Parks and Rec Director Jesus Mesa and I met with Veronica Shore, the Regional Director of the Arizona Community Foundation, to explore potential ways that the city can utilize possible funding to augment the city's rec programs. It's been a couple of years since the city has pursued that funding, some of which is specifically geographically designated for Somerton. So we'll be working together to pursue those funds. HR, Human Resources, has been very busy getting open positions filled. 2 new rec positions started today and are in the onboarding process. Offers have been made to 2 IT help desk positions. Those offers have been accepted. Interviews went on today for the HR assistant position. We've received 125 applications for the deputy city clerk position that will close this Friday. And the special events coordinator position has received 85 applications and has only been open since Friday. And finally, the employee recognition event was a great night. Very nice to see so many staff members and their guests celebrate the many accomplishments the team has made in 2019. I thought I'd just briefly mention the special awards winners. Volunteer of the Year, Anthony Aguirre. Outstanding Customer Service Award, Sally Cavazos of Public Works, right here. Outstanding Leadership Award went to Javier Hernandez of the Fire and occasionally Police Departments. Rookie of the Year went to Jessica Beltran of Finance. And Employee of the Year was Cheryl Gonzalez of the Fire Department. So many thanks to the staff and the volunteers that worked hard to make that event a reality and everyone who came to make it a success. And with that, Mr. Macy, you want to jump on in?
Well, currently at the Parks and Recreation Department, the ceremony for youth baseball, the closing ceremony is scheduled for this Friday. Everybody's welcome to attend JCC Park at 6 p.m. We're hoping to have the coordinator there, myself, and hopefully some of council members and mayor can attend. And the parade is this Friday, the Light Parade 2019. It's going to start at 6:30. The same route from Cesar Chavez Avenue all the way to Union Street, State Avenue, which is this one. And we have 35 floats confirmed to be part of our light parade. And the logistics for the Tamal Festival, we've been working on this for months with all the departments, the committee. Everything's in line to be another spectacular Tamal Festival. And hoping to have everybody here. I think Vlad Hernandez is going to be the main event for that one. So it should be a good show. Just want to mention that the Senior Center, the holiday celebration is tomorrow at 11 a.m. at our Senior Center. Everybody's welcome to attend. We invited the council from the Cocopa tribe. As you know, they're very involved, they support, and they tentatively confirmed they're going to be there. And as our administrator mentioned, the last day for Angelica is tomorrow. We've been having a lot of good feedback for the new, for this opening 85. But I mean, you can't replace her dedication. She's been a good employee for the city for about 4 years. We appreciate her service as a city and as a Parks and Rec department, and hopefully she's going to do well on her next endeavor, and we wish her the best. That's it for right now.
You said the closing ceremony was Friday?
It's going to be this Thursday.
Thursday.
At 6 p.m. So we have all the kids here when it's not too cold, and hopefully get it ready in 45 minutes or so.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members, Serena Gallegos, Finance. For the next couple of weeks, we will be working very, very closely with the budget for 2020. I will be working on the Cassell program so we can transfer it over, and we will be working on our CIPs. CIP forms, operating, personnel, all that for the next couple of weeks and into January. We will also be doing ADP trainings for employees, department heads, managers. I am reviewing our current contract with ADP and Cassell to ensure that there aren't any cost savings that we can realize through those contracts, and I will be meeting with the Parks and Recreation Commission tomorrow. On an IT note, Max will no longer be with us. I received his resignation a couple weeks.
Not dying or anything.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. He will be moving forward into another opportunity. We wish you the best, and thank you so much for all your service and everything you do. So, as Ian mentioned, those positions have been filled, and over the last several weeks, almost months now, I have been working with the City of Yuma, with their CIO, to see about getting some feedback with regards to where we are and the recommendation from the CIO as to what direction we should be moving on in IT. I believe I've mentioned it a couple times to Ian, and so we'll be meeting this week to go over our server project. And that is all I have for you.
wanted to say goodbye to Judas too, Max too. Actually, Max has been a tremendous help for us over there in public safety, so we're gonna miss him. Recently, I just resubmitted in the last 2 days a letter to the new city manager at Yuma. Previously, I had sent a letter to Jay Simonton, who's the interim, regarding offering billing services for the ambulance. And so he actually responded within a day, and I was real happy about that. He said he's gonna ask his people internally to see where we're at on that, and then that we may enter into a deeper discussion on it. So that's a big opportunity for us if they bite on that. Besides that, this coming month of January, I'm going to be coming before the council. There's 2 grants that are opening. One is the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety, and I'm going to be asking for permission to submit a grant for new extrication equipment. And I'm going to be doing a second grant through Firehouse Subs, requesting a burner unit, which is a foam unit, on a Terragator, and we're going to be using that for the speedway, and instead of using the brush truck, which is real cumbersome up there. And so I'll be asking for permission to submit those 2 grants, and that's all we have for now.
Mayor and Council, we continue working on the 2020 General Plan update. There is a survey that is still available for all the residents to go in and tell us what they want to see in Somerton within the next 10 years. It is very important for us to know, for the consultant that has been hired by the city, to know and understand the needs and wants of our residents. So this is vital for us to get as many responses as possible in order to continue with the update. This survey is available online. It's at our city's webpage, and they can go in, and it only takes 2 to 3 minutes to fill it out, and it's very important feedback for us to prepare the draft of the 2020 General Plan update. So we're inviting all the residents to go into our city's webpage, go into the survey, and fill out the survey before December 31st. Also, we continue working on the Census 2020 operation. That's another very important operation for the city, for its residents, and for the based on the demographics that we get the counts from the Census Bureau. That's what is going to be determining the amount of federal and state funding that the city can receive in the next 10 years. So that's another very important project that we are working on. As part of the outreach plan that we have put together, we are going to be having a census booth at the Tamale Festival on Saturday. So we invite all the residents to stop by, and we can talk to them and explain the importance of this census count. Also, the light parade, we're going to have a float on Friday night with the census people. On a different note, we have a couple of subdivisions, developments that are under construction, underway. Amanecer Townhomes on Crane Street, that they initiated construction of the improvements yesterday. So they're moving earth as we speak, working on that, and that project is going to take about 6 to 9 months to be finalized. Also, we have Valle del Sol Phase 3. They are getting ready to initiate improvements installation. We have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for next week, and hopefully they're going to be initiating construction pretty soon. Thank you.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. I just want to thank publicly Sally and the entire committee for putting together a real nice appreciation dinner for us the other night, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you for everything that was done. My mom really enjoyed it as well, and it's something that I'm very thankful for, because I felt very comfortable. We had a real good time. I think all of us had a real good time, and I'm just thankful. Thank you, Sally, for everything, and whoever the rest of the committee is. We have the batteries replaced over there at the west city limits and the east city limits of town. You've probably seen them. They'll be working constantly. We have 4 batteries that were replaced on that. So we also have a float in the parade for Friday night, and we're ready for the Tamale Festival. I just have to do one more meeting with one of the ASU alumni members, and then we should be ready to go. We had some of our supervisors attended training today on leadership, team building, and coaching. very productive. It's going to help us. It's going to help the entire department. The entire organization will benefit from it, so we're going to be putting that information out to our staff. Also, I would like to thank Max. Max has been critical and very essential to us at the police department as well, putting together the server and coordinating everything with the gentlemen that were taking care of that. Max, thank you very much. You know that people always joke about how a lot of ITs make us, the average person, feel very dumb. Well, Max never did that, and I appreciate that, Max, because you always took your time to explain and treat us with a lot of respect, and I hope that wherever you go, you have a great time and you continue your career. Thank you for everything. And one last thing, we've completed our hires for dispatch. We're just completing one more background on one lady, and then we've completed as well. We haven't completely completed the hires for the last 3 officers because they're going through backgrounds, and it all depends on whether they pass a polygraph and everything comes good on their background, and then we'll be hopefully fully staffed here again. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I just want a couple of updates about the west side property, city property on the west side. We have, I give you a handout there in the place about the site plan. This is the latest site plan from Sunset Community Health Center. And as you recommended, we put in the building farther to the north. They're still looking for 5 acres. That's their intent to develop. And also this morning I got the second proposal for another company. It's a local company. They want to build retail. The example, the second handout that I provide to you, this is the elevations. Similar building. The intent of their proposal is to build 2 buildings, retail, medical offices and retail activities. So far on that location, we have a couple proposals already in place. They both submitted their deposit, and once I complete the lot split and the subdivision, we're gonna select specific parcels. Based on these 2 proposals, we have still 10 acres to go. There's other people looking into the property, so we met with another company from Phoenix as a hotel company last week, and they're also interested in here, besides the local developer also with a hotel. So hopefully either one, they decide to move forward soon so we can be able to plat the 20 acres parcel soon. But we need to have at least a couple more proposals so we can divide the parcels based on their needs. We have 5 acres parcel right now for Sunset, 4 acres for the commercial center, and the hotel may need 1.5 to 2 acres, but we're not sure yet. So that's the proposals that we have so far for the property. And the range of the proposals per acre, it ranges from 100,000 per acre to 80,000 per acre. So once we know more, we can bring it before you for the final approval. This is only conceptual at this time, but at least we get in the proposals in place and this activity, commercial and other development activity in the area. For the downtown, we got the design drawings for the facade improvements on the house, the blue house on the main street. And this morning I got the proposal. We're gonna go through the internal design review, and then once the design review is approved, then we're gonna proceed with the construction drawings and then start the facade improvement for that location. There's another couple of businesses looking into the program, so hopefully we get a couple more and then continue working on Main Street. Besides that, that's all in Michoacán. Is still, I was told last Friday, it's really close, but not yet. They're still waiting. And a couple of interests on that corner here. There's another company looking into that corner on the parking lot on the Metro PCS building. So another interest there. A restaurant, and also on the City Hall site. a company looking into that one right now. So some activity going on. Thank you.
Good evening again, Mayor, City Council. An update on our water main station project in La Mesa. Our contractor continues with installation of the pipe along County 16. Currently, they already passed Avenue B and moving forward to the east. And also, our street crew restarted the County 15 or Madison pathway project. We continue pouring concrete, and we also replaced some sidewalk ramps on Andrea and County 15. And I don't know if you have the opportunity to drive by, but we also installed the street lights along Madison between Somerton and Andrea. And we also installed the pedestrian lights that are on right now. We turned it on this past weekend. Our next project, which is the Zocalo Gardens, we had a pre-bid meeting last week. Some local contractors attended, and we have scheduled the bid opening for this coming Thursday at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
First off, I want to thank all employees that that attended the employee dinner. We had a very good turnout. I also want to thank directors and staff for their hard work this year. This is our last meeting before the new 2020. Thank you for your hard work, your commitment and dedication, to the city. And I think it's also it'd be a good time to kind of talk with your staff and reflect on staff goals. What went well this year, what could have, what are the areas of opportunities, just things like that. I also want to mention that I attended the NALEO session they had at December 7th. It was a very interesting session. It was a full day, but it didn't feel like it. It was very engaging. And Ian, I just shared with you a folder with census, with resources for the 2020 census. You want to click that. If you click on the folder, you're gonna get a list of resources there. And that's what was shared, and they talked about the importance of making sure that we count everyone. And aside from that, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's all I have there.
I just want to mention that I had the opportunity to attend on Saturday very historic event in San Luis, Mexico. It was the unveiling of the monument of in remembrance of all the immigrants in which I'm part of it, and I know that some of us are here as well. The sculpture was made in resemblance of Don Manuel Campa Garcia. He was an icon for all the immigrants across the border as well as on this side of the border. So it was very emotional because his living spouse, daughters and sons, as well as grandkids were present. And I even thank the president for for their effort of bringing it up to, and also Rebecca Ching for to accomplish this historic event. And I said that I was representing the city of Somerton and the mayor and the vice mayor and the rest of the council as well. And he was very well represented by a lot of people from the community as well as from out of town, California. And I just want to say that his older son, Don Manuel Campa, him and I went to school together, so I haven't seen him for years, so it was great being there because I was able to see him again. So I haven't.
I think it's just what Councilmember Castillo said. Thank you for the hard work and for all you've done for said it on and also mayor at the appreciation dinner that the best little city in Arizona because of the employees. You guys do the job and so please thank your employees for the hard work they've done. And I also want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Also, I attended the robotics competition for the city of Yuma, I think it was 38 schools from 5th grade all the way to 8th grade, and the Valle del Encanto Learning Center, they're the city champs, and these are 5th graders. I didn't know these kids can do that. I mean, so now they'll be representing the city and the area, the ASU, and I think it's January 18 or something like that. So maybe we can contact the school and we can bring them also here, so or just as a recognition event. This is the first time I believe that somebody from South County needs something like that. And I think, you know, also it was nice to see all the employees, that people could attend their, you know, the appreciation dinner. I think it's time to have fun, to talk to the employees, to talk to, you know, other departments. Sometimes we don't see them until then, so it's something that we look forward to do it, you know. Yeah, so good dance moves off. That's it.
And Mr. Councilman Roldan said, on recognizing those kids, I also asked Ian if we could invite all the junior high. They've had some city championships too, so it's important that we, encourage our young kids. We had our student of the month, and it just makes an impression for them coming here and seeing council, seeing our view, and just they'll remember it for the rest of their lives. Just being working here. So, when you first get here, it's kind of intimidating. But it's always good to have them recognized. Also, to the employee dinner, the committee, and and all the employees were going. It was a fun night, well organized, and everybody was having a good time. Thank you. Also, the lighting, the tower lighting was great. It just the scenery, the weather was nice, and it just seemed like kind of like under the water tower. That's a special place, and it was a nice venue to have it. And there was a lot of people there too, so it was a great event too. And that's we have those two events too, the light parade. Let's keep that promotion going. And, the Tamale Festival. It's a lot of work, but that's how we showcase our city, and it's just for our citizens. We're in the business of providing services, and that's what brings the community together. And I know as employees, it's a lot of sacrifices, and sometimes, but hopefully there's also time to enjoy those events and just sit back and just enjoy. And this is the last meeting of the year. We're not going to see each other until the 7th, so 3 weeks. So happy holidays, and enjoy it with your families. And thank you for everything. And we have 2 executive sessions. Is there a motion to adjourn to executive session? There's a motion by Councilman Roldan, second by Councilman Villalpando. All in favor?